start.
Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. We are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat. And of course, you're going to follow the show online and enjoy the show as well. We are also streaming live on Prime FM platform. That is Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. We are streaming live. Just follow the show online, and of course, you're going to enjoy the show as well. We are on radio 105.5 Prime FM. So kindly ensure that you join us tonight, and also share the show, share the live video, so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. We want you to share the show tonight because it promises to be very intriguing tonight. Well, let me just have Quinto what is coming up. I know any moment from now, we'll start an interview with the president of the Press Union of Liberia, Mr. Julius Carnoba. Mr. Carnoba is here tonight to talk about first reaction of the Press Union to claims made by the police inspector general. Gregory Como, Como once said that he has, I'm sure, evidence, because if he didn't have the evidence, he would have never spoken. He's a law enforcer. He has the evidence that some journalists are taking bribes, receiving money from the cartel to sway and also undermine the ongoing drugs investigation. And so, as a result of that, the press union felt that the inspector general has angered them, and so they called a mass meeting and they discussed. And so, what was the outcome of that meeting? Where are we now? What are the outcome has been actualized or implemented? What sort of injury? What injury, in fact, did the IG statement cause for members of the press union? And so the president, the man who speaks on their behalf, the man who advocates on their behalf, the man who espouses their needs, he's here tonight to make us understand all of those concerns that we have. And after which, our panelists now will talk about, the Drugs Enforcement Agency, the DA, has changed leadership for the fifth time. Yeah, try just calculate that. I was trying to calculate that today. First, they had what's the senator name? Zago. Okay, I think he was there. Later on, we heard about A.B. Kroman, the second change of leadership, and after which we heard about Andrew Peters. I'm sure that's the name. That's the third change of leadership. And then later on, we heard about Anthony Swore, the fourth, and then Biago and his team, the fifth. Yeah, man. Just under less than 3 years of the administration, 5 different leadership has been changed at the Drugs Enforcement Agency. So what does that mean? We didn't see this happening. This is the first time that up to now we can have anybody, trusted, committed, to head that institution. What's happening? We're going to talk about that tonight as well. And also, my partners and I will look at, Snow and others. They've seen what they call a small screen handling of the controversial ghost ship. We're going to talk about that. What is that ship now? We understand that that ship was arrested somewhere in Ivory Coast on the orders of the American government, not the Liberian government. So we're going to talk about that, as well. And also tonight, the government is faced with, this whole cocaine thing. It started some months back. And then later on, we heard about crisis again. But the government just said to us that the crisis at the border again has normalized. In fact, that's the second time We heard the Minister of Information when he came up again one time and said, "Well, calm has returned." And then after a few weeks again, we heard that the Guinean soldiers were asking our people to push back so that they can set up that checkpoint. No, is it going to be you're going to experience back and forth with this? We're not going to get to actualizing a stable situation at the border now. We're going to talk about that as well on the program after our guest had left. And then in Nimba County, this whole verbal clashes between and amongst citizens, key citizens, eminent citizens of the county, and it appeared far from being over. We heard again the man, Councillor Yelu, Garrison Yelu. He said something we got to tip here. He seems to be very upbeat, and he said he's going to, in fact, join his Cody Koga if there's any lawsuit against Koga taken by the MDR. He's going to, join Koga to fight the lawsuit. And he was very, very critical of the current administration. We got a video here. We're going to talk about that as well. Why is it that Nimba County cannot be stable? Is it that the some of the eminence don't just like the vice president? What's happening? Mr. Vice President, what's happening to you? We're going to talk about that as well on the program. Well, President Boka and his team today met and they tried taking stocks, we call that taking stocks. Presentations were made and ministers and directors were telling the president as to what they've achieved. We're going to hear from the president, because he spoke at the start of that meeting today. We're going to talk about that tonight on the program. That is shipped off the nighttime heat. But like I said, we have the president of the Press Union of Liberia. I'm sure he's here for a little over 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and he can leave. We'll do our own analysis quickly because we want to hear from the Press Union as to where we are with the major allegations that were slammed on some members of the media community that they were taking money, taking bribes, and the IG said it. But it's just, the troubling things is that the IG, he saw them maybe because if he didn't see them, he would have never spoken about that. And also he has the hard evidence. So why can't he arrest those people? So we can see our colleagues being handcuffed who took money from the cartels. But today the press, will tell us as to where they are because they met in a group, they held a very big meeting and what sort of consensus was reached. What are they thinking? Will Gregory Coleman go with impunity? Or are they thinking about dragging him into court? Do they have the capacity? Do they have the lawyer? If so, what are they thinking about using? Is it Tawan Gonglo again? Because the PU always run into Tawan Gonglo. Mr. President, welcome to the program. Let me welcome you first.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to form part of your important platform at this particular time. So warm greetings to you, warm greetings to your colleagues, and your variegated audiences in terms of the broadcasts on radio and then on the different social media platforms. So it's good to be with you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Let me welcome David Benedictus Rasmussen Namwetawe. David, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sabon, and good evening to everyone. I'd like to say good evening to our president, Julius Konamba. Edwin had just elevated himself to another level. I'd like to congratulate him. So, so I'd like to acknowledge that. So, good evening to many of our listeners. I guess Moses will be joining us on the show. Josh Kennedy.
Yes, I tried reaching out to him today.
Josh Kennedy hasn't been around for some time. So
I think it's not feeling too well. Hoping that,
but I guess that he will follow.
Yeah, surely. Likewise, Desmond Willion. I tried also reaching out to him. I couldn't get him. But let's welcome our Anton in our law, newest Anton in our law. Council, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Josh. And I'm glad to see you after being away for some time.
Yeah, sure.
I also appreciate the time you took off to take care of your wife. That shows some level of leadership and responsibility.
Thank you.
And that, that is highly commendable of you.
And that's the time he smiles.
Yeah, that is high. No. But it is indeed because you don't find a lot of men doing that these days, where you have to get out of the house to go and do other things to fund for the family. but that is actually commendable. Again, I'm glad to be here, to as always, to be on this show.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your being here tonight, especially a day after your induction, and then you came to the show tonight. We really appreciate, and congratulations. We always count on you when it comes to legal issues. You went to school for that. You always help us. You always guide us, so that we don't fall into problem here. We know our colleague today, it's behind bars. It should be out anytime. Prophet Key. So it's good that we have you, so you can always guide us. So we don't.
You call Prophet Key our colleague?
No,
No, he isn't our colleague.
No, I mean he is.
No, he's
now.
not
The
a
man-
professional
No, the
colleague.
man has been using the airwaves.
No, I disagree.
So I know that
I disagree. I disagree
All
with
right,
calling
David,
our
I know
colleague.
you don't.
He
I
isn't
know-
our colleague.
You
He's
what
not
is
our
he?
professional
He's our brother.
colleague. No. Yeah,
Isn't
he's
that your brother?
He's our fellow Liberian. But if you say colleague,
So who has he been?
no, the first
Just
thing-
a man that been using the airwaves.
No,
The
no,
PL
I-
is
no,
aware.
I
The
disagree.
PL proves the man using the airwaves.
No, I
The
disagree.
PL proves the man using the airwaves.
No, I disagree with that, Sabo. He is in
You
our,
always disagree, but
no,
this is the
he
fact.
isn't our colleague.
This is the fact. The man
No,
has been using the
under any
airwaves.
kind of
I'm
circumstances.
coming now,
Under
David.
any kind of
David.
circumstance, you can call Prophet
David.
Kid our
So-
colleague.
No,
he
he
isn't
is,
our
he
colleague.
is,
He
Dave.
isn't. He's now.
So
the-
what?
Oh, you don't
So
agree to that.
No.
But the point of the matter is
I
that
disagree
the point
with
of the
that.
matter is that
Uh-huh.
anyone, even the bloggers, that they are part of the media
Prophet
community.
Key, Prophet Key.
No, I'm
hasn't-
not. I mean,
Prophet- as
let's
far as
forget
I'm
about. I
Prophet-
come in 1 minute.
Prophet Key
Dave,
has always
Dave,
expressed
1
his
minute.
own personal
Dave, 1 minute.
feelings.
Dave, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Let's accept that Prophet.
Now
Key-
you want to start a fire?
No,
so
no, no, no,
soon.
no, no, no. I'm coming up.
No,
But you try.
you want to start a
ignite
heat
the
too.
fire. And I
No,
don't.
you want
Okay,
to.
we have the president here. Let's try
Yeah.
to host him
I
quickly. so that he can
disagree
leave.
with that.
Mr. President, welcome to the program. The president just married. Welcome to the program, Mr. President.
Thanks again for the opportunity to form part of your program at this time.
Okay. Now, let's play this video first, and let's begin on that note, because one of the major reasons for which we invited you. Please play the video.
And we've been able to verify and establish that they have infused money into the media to change the narrative.
Okay.
You got to carry it a little bit.
And we've been able to verify and establish that they have infused money into the media to change the narrative, distract the key players in the investigation, and just sow a serious seed of discord. And that is not just hurting the investigation, it's hurting this nation. If you claim the patriotism that you build your platform upon and you stand upon to say you're doing this to redeem this nation, for once, put that moral bankruptcy aside and do something for the future of this country. In 2024, President Buck has declared this a national emergency. What we do know at this point in time with our investigation and established is very alarming. I will take you back to 2008 when Madam Ellen Johnson.
Okay, so Mr. President, we sought to just play this tape. I'm sure you heard it, and it's against the backdrop that you chose. You took the decision to call a mass meeting of your members. You listen to the police RG. This is very grave. He said they've been able to, confirm and all of that. So it's grave. Now, how Frost, you've been a media, practitioner before, becoming a president of the Press Union. When you heard this, what was running through your mind?
Well, again, first, thank you very much for the opportunity to participate at this particular time. First, it was brought to our attention by some senior media figures within the country and journalists who do cover the Ministry of Information's regular press briefing. And it appeared, in my mind, to be very grave, very alarming. When we listen to what the RG said, but also it came as a surprise, and we're very astounded by this sort of a grave allegation, a grave claim by the government of Liberia, and we should make that particular distinction. The Inspector General Police is not just acting as the Inspector General Police. He's heading, or he's one of the key figures within the Joint Presidential Investigative Task Force on this issue of illicit importation, illicit exportation of drugs, or illicit use of drugs in the country. So you're speaking on behalf of that particular team that represents the government of Liberia. So it was a shock to all of us, given what he said, that it has been verified and established. But we also took it as an opportunity to help us in terms of getting the evidence now to take some actions, practical actions against any journalists or media institutions found to have taken monies from the cartel to sway or influence perspectives about the issue of the overall fight against illicit drugs in the country, or to even undermine the investigation. So it was on that basis, and I should say this, when many different journalists, media institutions did call to us, we said, we're honest, we did not listen to the RG at that particular point. And on our leadership, we are very analytical. We examine the facts of a circumstance before taking a position. So we had to re-listen to the overall 1 hour, 20 minutes of press briefing at the Ministry of Information before we did some consultations, and then we took a position that, on the 30th of July, it was important for the Inspector General to come up with the evidence that, yes, because when you use those words, you have verified and established. It means that you have the facts.
Yeah, you have the evidence.
You are not alleging, or you are not speaking on the basis of suspicion. So, that was what prompted us to take an initial position. And given the severity of the matter, given the consequences it will have on journalism, we thought it was important to place a time frame. It was why we took a position of 3 days, which is 72 hours. So after the 72 hours elapsed, we did not hear from the government to name any media institution or journalist who has received money that has been infused by the cartel. So what we did was, given that we did not receive any evidence at that particular stage, we thought that it was necessary, in the midst of mounting concerns about the safety of journalists, about the safety of media institutions, about the erosion of trust in the media that could be a function of what the RG or the government of Liberia said. We thought to have called a mass membership meeting to consult, because the press union is a membership organization, despite being a trade union organization, but we rely on the membership at certain instances to give perspectives on issues confronting journalism or the media within our country, or issues confronting our nation as a whole. So it was on that basis that on Monday of last week, we held that mass membership meeting. And the meeting was attended massively by journalists, representatives or representations from different media institutions, which of course was very significant. I think Dave was in the meeting. He actively participated, and there were different views. But at the end, 99.9% of the membership took a decision to mandate the leadership of the PUL
To mandate.
mandate
Okay.
the leadership of the PUL.
It's not to prevail. It's not to appeal, rather.
To mandate.
To mandate.
I said to
No,
No, no, I'm
to the mandate,
no,
yeah.
no,
I'm-
I'm coming. I'm
Yes,
coming. I'm
you're
trying to
getting
get
somewhere.
somewhere. I'm getting
You're
somewhere.
getting somewhere, yeah.
I'm getting somewhere, Dave.
Yeah, I
The
know.
member-
I'm very
Membership-
smart when I'm conducting my
Yeah,
interview.
the
Go ahead.
membership does not appeal to the leadership.
Oh, no appeal,
Right.
but
No.
to mandate.
Yeah, to
A
mandate,
very strong word.
to instruct or to direct.
Really.
Okay.
Go ahead.
To mandate the leadership to engage with legal counsel or lawyers
Mhm.
to seek the appropriate remedies. And under that particular motion, there are a lot of different constructions that can be made based on what happened at the meeting. It is not the case, as was interpreted or misinterpreted by some or others who felt that when you hear legal counsel, it means you immediately go into court. It is not necessarily the case. There is no legal counsel per our experience or experiences working with lawyers that you just go to and take your matter to court. Sometimes they will even invite the party or parties that you want to
For
take to court
conference,
for
yeah.
a conference to understand some of the issues, the differences, whether you can be able to resolve it internally first. If that fails, and then perhaps they can advise you as to whether you want to proceed, given the facts of the case. So the membership mandated the leadership to engage with legal counsel to seek the appropriate remedies,
Okay.
right? Those remedies are many and are different. But given the views expressed by the membership is diverse and people have different perspectives. Time, because the membership per the mandate give for 1 week, right? The appropriate time will be able to reconvene to review internally some of the perspectives that have come as a result of the consultations with different lawyers. I should say the Press Union is a pro-social justice democratic trade union organization.
Okay.
So from time to time, we consult a multitude of lawyers to have a perspective.
This time it's not only Tiawan Gonglo anymore because we always we always
Councillor
run to
Councillor
Gonglo.
Tiawan Gonglo, I should say, he celebrated his 70th birth anniversary just recently, the 6th of August. So we're at the program.
Okay.
You know, he's one of the most knowledgeable lawyers that we have within this country. And among the champions of freedom, he stands
So you
as
consulted
this sort
him.
of a backbone.
Mhm.
So but at this stage,
Mhm.
we will not reveal anyone or the name of anyone that we've consulted.
But why are you trying to conceal something here? I mean, the point of the matter is that
It's concealed.
the point of the matter is that your leadership was mandated
Yeah.
by the members. If
Did you hear in that
I'm
motion?
coming,
Wait,
I'm
wait,
coming,
no, no,
I'm
no, wait,
coming,
wait,
I'm
wait,
coming,
wait.
I'm coming.
Did you hear in the motion consults this specific lawyer?
No, I mean you don't have to you don't have to be specific. But the point of the matter is that how many lawyers did the leadership consult as you speak now?
No, that cannot
Is it
be
only
revealed.
Tiawan Gonglo?
That cannot be revealed. We have to protect the sanctity of certain information until the membership reconvenes.
So, Mr. President,
Right.
what is the legal thing advising after you've consulted with them?
Yes,
What is it? What is the legal team advising?
No, it will be premature at this particular time to review anything that has been said by the different councils we've been able to consult, because we are on a mandate by the membership. So we have to report back to the membership, and then it can be public. Because if,
Now,
I say,
okay.
because if I say anything now, the essence of convening or meeting or reconvening a meeting will not be so strong.
Do we see the PEL going to court on this matter?
So but at the appropriate time, the union will release a position.
Mr. President, I was one of the members of the PL that attended the recent meeting. There were two issues mainly that emphasis were on. The issue of a blackout, the issue of a legal action against the government through the police authorities. And so I mean, people's expectation, mainly members of the union's expectations have been that, there is an agreement as to which action should the press union take, which action should the leadership take. A legal action, the blackout, but now you're saying that you've had a discussion with the legal team, and it will be premature to say what happened there. So I mean, you leaving members of the union and followers of the union in doubt.
No, I mean it is not in doubt.
So
I mean,
what I mean,
I won't
in suspense,
agree with that,
in
right?
suspense as to
No, because
I think
we are
in
not
suspense.
Let
is the
him
right
land
way
with his
to say
question.
it.
Please, Mr.
Yeah.
President.
So I mean, not in doubt, but I think the appropriate word is suspense, keeping us in suspense as members of the union and people who are also admirers or followers of the media. I mean, you're leaving us in suspense, Mr. President. If you say it's premature,
there's nothing
if
in
it were
suspense.
premature, it's something that, you know, the fact that you've come on the show, the expectation of many members of the union it was that you would have disclosed what's the outcome, what is the legal team of the union advising. I mean, that's what many of us as members of the union are interested in. Then saying, oh, it's premature to say that. I mean, so
I think he's doing further consultation. I think he's texting his colleague to see what he can reveal on the show, the outcome of all the consultations. So,
I just went to your advertisement that you made, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said there is an expectation that the consultations we've had with the different councils will be reviewed on your show. But in your invitation, or what you publish, you said you interviewed the president of the PUL on recent claims by police RG and its attending consequences.
Yeah, but that includes also the outcome.
No. It's a recent claims.
It also includes the outcome, Mr. President. It includes the outcome.
It's a recent claims and the attending consequences.
So
right?
what is the outcome now?
Yes.
You
No.
held a couple of consultations.
No, I've said it, right? We are on a mandate as a leader, right? Or as a group of leaders.
So okay, let me ask you this
at the
way.
PUL.
So it's not yet certain as to whether the PUL go to court. We don't know that yet.
Suburb.
It may be
Decisions
handled behind
like
a closed door.
No, like Dave said correctly, right? Views were diverse on the floor. And when views are diverse, at certain times, there can be the convergence. Dave just said something which I can be able to turn into what we refer to as a hardline approach, which I spoke about, the tools that we have in our arsenal. And when we talk about arsenal, not the football team, right?
Yeah, sure.
But some sort of machinery that you have in place to employ. But also the soft line approach, those who said constructive engagement. So consulting lawyers, right, is a part of the constructive engagements. But I cannot come, I'm on our mandate as a group of leaders. We are on our mandate to report to the membership. And we disrespect the membership to come on Prime FM and speak about some of the outcomes of these consultations.
Yeah, that's the reason
it would also be disrespectful to the people we're speaking with to even call their names now, right? Because you will consult different people, they can give you messages in private. They don't want messages to be revealed in public in terms of their identities. So the union is proceeding in keeping with the mandate and in keeping with professional best practices. It is not that Julius Kanova or the leadership wants to conceal information. We went public.
Let me ask you, Mr. Kanova.
Let
me ask you, Mr. Kanova. Let's assume that you didn't.
Don't assume.
No. Let's assume that you didn't call a membership meeting, or maybe you were accused by the Inspector General directly of receiving bribes from cartel to undermine and sway the ongoing investigation. What would you have done?
There are different actions you can be able to employ. And Dave regularly said, for people who know me, for example, if you say Julius Kanova took money from the cartel, there will be a very strong doubt. For people who know Sober, well, it could be strong doubt, right? For people who know Dave. So sometimes, one media leader says something, which of course you don't want to publicly engage in such a change. From my perspective, the police RG did appear before the Senate on this issue about how the government is addressing the illicit drugs in the crisis. And one senator is thought to have said something that was unacceptable. And at a certain time, the police RG said, sorry, I could be totally lie, but this is what I heard from somebody say it was a loose talk,
Mhm.
for example, of what the senator was implying. So one senior media colleague, said perhaps what you are saying against the media or towards the media is a loose talk, but you don't want this sort of exchanges referring to sort of government official as a loose talker, for example. So we want the facts, and in getting the facts, there are different processes you have to follow, right? One of the processes, or one of the mechanisms, is that you have to consult lawyers, because before we issue any position statement at the PUL, we look at the different implications on freedom of speech, the safety of journalists, the issue of advancing democracy in Liberia, the issue of having investors' confidence in the country, right? The issue of different interventions within the country. So we don't just take a position publicly and then we start to regret. No, when we take a position, we are certain that it becomes the position that many of our members do think about. And this was what prompted us to even consult the membership, because
Okay.
sometimes you will have to get diverse perspectives.
Okay.
And
Mr.
those
Mr. President.
diverse perspectives can help
Mr. President.
the union.
Somebody,
No,
I'd
I
like to
can't
ask
come
you a question.
All right, go ahead.
I'd like to ask a question. Mr. President of the Press Union Liberia, there is this thing, critics of the media continue to say that, look, and in fact, the last time I engaged, a few guys at one of the intellectual centers said, look, David, the media is not above reproach. The journalists who sit on the radio and make a lot of allegations, and make a lot of comments and remarks about, very important people in society and others. I mean, without sometimes claims being accompanied by facts. And so the guy said, look, David, most of the journalists, the fact that you've reported, you've made a lot of some of your colleagues on talk shows and other programs, have made wild allegations against officials of government and private citizens. And sometimes, in most cases, they let it go. No one threatens the media with lawsuit. No one threatens the media with a blackout. Well, now, for the police inspector general to have said that, look, there's some media houses or journalists who are receiving bribe, monies, or other favors from drug cartels to undermine the ongoing investigation. And that is annoying the Press Union of Liberia. That is annoying the Press Union of Liberia. And that was the reason why we had a mass meeting. So what is your response to those who think that, look, media is not above reproach? Your members, some of your members on talk shows have made a lot of derogatory statements, unsubstantiated claims against senior members of government and other private citizens. And those people don't care about threatening the media with legal actions or blackout. Now it is the media's turn.
Okay, let me answer the question.
The first thing is that the basis of those statements are not factual in nature. First, you say most journalists make accusations. We have not had any scientific studies.
Okay, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that one, Mr. President.
What we are aware of is, for example, and this sort of a comparison that public officials are accused and then public officials accuse journalists. You don't want to engage in such a situation because you will undermine the integrity of journalism and you make journalism a useless institution, right? So the point there is that first, if some journalists or media institutions are engaged in spewing out accusations without facts, there are mechanisms in place in Liberia at the level of the Press Union of Liberia and at the level of the judiciary, the judicial branch of government, to take appropriate actions. And I challenge anyone, right? Since we took over Sabo, we've had over 30 cases that have been filed on the issue of ethical breaches by journalists
Some of
and media practitioners. So those people don't just sit and say they will trade the same allegations on journalists.
Yeah.
We had the famous case of Representative Priscilla Cooper from the Pittsburgh Belt, where she's representing. There was there's a newspaper that brought a story when the removal Saka of the Speaker Kofa was ensuing, and they said that because female lawmakers signed the resolution, and there were reports that bribes were given, so to speak. So it means that all the female lawmakers, they took bribe. So one publication brought female lawmakers and one bribe takers, and brought the pictures of all the female lawmakers. The press union investigated that matter, right? So people whose character or reputation, right, are somehow damaged, allegedly damaged, or impinged upon, right, they have to file a complaint to the PUL, right? So those who are in the public, sometimes they may not understand how journalists or journalism functions, right? Journalists have got the right to express their opinions. But when you are expressing your opinions as journalists or media institutions, those opinions must be backed by facts. We always tell our members, our opinions are not ordinary opinions. They are opinions that are meant to inform decision-making within the country. So, for instance, if people are critical of the police and the handling of the particular investigation, they say that the police should come and start to accuse the media. And let's be clear, the police inspector general or the government did not say, even if you say some journalists, right? I mean, how do we distinguish the some from the others? It becomes difficult. I know Minister Pia, when the police RG made a statement, they tried on three occasions to clarify that the police RG did not mean the entirety of the media. He was referring to a segment of the media. But what is that segment? If you cannot tell that it is Prime FM, right? So we don't buy into that argument where you have to trade accusations, another person comes to counter accusation. Then the society will not have a shared understanding about a specific issue.
All right, Mr. President.
So our point is that anyone, for that matter, if you believe strongly that this radio station or this journalist is ethically breaching the norms or rules of ethical journalism, file a complaint and you see what will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did the statement made by the Inspector General, how did it injure the press union in any way?
Well, the press union in Liberia, when you say press union, what comes to you?
No, you tell me.
No. I mean, just talk. Somebody, and as part of
How did it injure your institution and the members?
And as part of these consultations we're having, because we've had different statements from different actors who have said they've spoken with certain people within the government, including the police, and they say is that the statement was referring to social media. When you say the media in Liberia, right? I'm not too sure anyone will tell you it is social media. The press union champions the rights of journalists. The press union champions the rights of the media in Liberia. But media institutions will include all forms and types of media institutions that are used by journalists, media, and communication professionals. So anything that injures, anything that undermines the safety of journalists, freedom of speech and expression, the rights of the media institutions, right? The press union will have to have a say in it.
So, Mr. President, how do you want it to end? How do you want the whole matter to end?
No, it is
What
not-
do
it is
you
not-
what do you expect? What do
Well-
you expect it?
Well, I was among a group of lawyers, senior lawyers, who have practiced law for 20, 30 years, right? And there was a consensus among them, right, that what the press union did was 100% correct. Because you said it, journalism is under criticism in Liberia.
Surely.
Now that the drone security in this sort of a major landmark case we see they've established and verified. It will be good now to expose any media institution or institutions, any journalist or journalists that have been taking money from the cartel to undermine national security. And the IG said something correct. President Boka, when he took over, even there was this crisis about Kuch, zombies, all these sort of names that were around. People were being, getting crazy, for instance, being hospitalized, and people were in the streets. There was the issue of illicit consumption of illicit drugs, drug trafficking, for example. I think we had a movement and was saying no to drugs campaign in the country, right? President Boka declared illicit drugs, the consumption, importation, or exportation, as a national emergency. When you read the national security strategy of Liberia, crafted by this very government, right, it says that illicit drugs, the importation, the consumption is a national security threat. So now that we have a cartel that has been operating according to the Jones Security for years, and that cartel has infused, quote unquote, monies into the media, why can't we name these media institutions? It's a simple request, very simple. Because if you see the media in Liberia as a whole, right, the media is unprofessional. Why can't you now, since we have the pieces of evidence, why can't we use those evidence or pieces of evidence to take certain actions? And Sobo or Dave, let somebody just say the family of Sobo Josh is corrupt. Then Sobo Josh say, oh, for me, they said the family, right? So I'm not corrupt. So it means that every member of the Sobo, of your family will have to clarify. But some will feel that, hey, it's an indictment against our family.
Surely.
So we have to seek legal advice. We have to seek other pieces of advice from different people. So this is what the membership thought was important to go. And I said it, 99.99% out of 100 voted for us to do these consultations. And at the appropriate time, to your question as to the end product of our consultations in terms of the next steps, that will be no. Because we call this meeting to see how the membership is thinking and what could be those next steps. And as part of it, we need to consult. After consulting, we'll come out. And we spoke to some lawyers, and they said something very important. They come from strong journalism background, but also they've worked in the public sector. But now they have their law degrees.
You are getting graduate to what we're asking.
No.
No, you're not calling him something, but you tell us about.
You want names? No, this is different from what we discussed about the consultations. And they said one of the ways also to proceed, for example, is to commission a study. Commission an investigation or examination into media reporting about this issue of the drug cartel. Is the media really biased? Right? Besides the IG statement, because the statement by the IG is one thing, right? Is the media really biased? Or has media reporting undermined the investigation? And without even going into such a study, although you need empirical facts, as somebody who has practiced journalism in Liberia and knowing about the media institutions of journalists, I cannot confidently say that the media has been biased.
So, Mr. President, let me ask you a question. So, Mr. President, does the president have a monitoring team or committee that monitors what the media is reporting, both on the radio, on the social media, and maybe also in the newspapers? Does the president of Liberia have a monitoring committee?
The UN used to have.
Yes,
at present, no. And this is one of our proposals to one of our partners with SANS, or Memorandum of Understanding, that to strengthen and improve or enhance the quality of journalism in Liberia, we need an effective, proactive, and robust system of media monitoring, where we built a technical secretariat like your studio. You have the necessary equipment. You can be able to take a select group of media institutions because it's not possible to monitor every media institution in the country. We have close to 200 radio stations in Liberia, around 50 newspapers. You have the online platforms that are used by a multitude of different journalists and different actors. You also have the television stations. So we need a dedicated approach. So that question, we will address it at the appropriate time if we have funding resources, right? Because to improve the quality of journalism is to monitor Prime FM, some of the major programs, because you're not dedicating your whole day to just monitoring all of the programs of Prime FM, but you can do some selections. Do you want to monitor the nighttime heat or the Prime Morning Draft or the news program or maybe the musical program or the announcements in the session? You want to monitor Freedom FM? Because there have been some cases where, yes, we've monitored, right? We monitor some of these institutions, but it is not on a systematic basis.
Okay, that's what Anthony Alon, you can come in quickly.
So my question was almost similar to what Dave asked, and there's a reason I was about to ask that question. What level of control or oversight do you have over these various institutions? Because you emphatically said whether the media has been biased in its reportage as it relates to the drugs issue, and you said no from your own investigation. But others might say, Mr. President, have you listened to other media institutions as to the way they're actually amplifying this thing, calling names, trying to blend people, even where they join security have not yet come up? However, you did not answer Mr. George question also. What is the end game? Because we can do all of this. We can do all of the talking. Your journalists are waiting to hear from the president. What actions are we going to take? With that, I think as the president, you can be emphatic on it to say at the end of the day, this is the step. As a president, I think we should take.
But it's not R, right?
No, let's be emphatic.
Listen now, I practice journalism.
I know that democracy.
You can change the questions 100 times and say, what is the end game, right?
Yeah.
So if you're under a mandate, certain information they are of, I don't want to say protected so far, right? But they are protected until the membership can meet in plenary or at a consultative meeting, and then you review, right? For instance, you don't want to say anything here, and then tomorrow you call a mass membership meeting, but say, you finished everything. So the thing is on Prime FM.
But Mr. President,
on Prime FM. On the issue of level of control, we have to be careful, right? The president does not control any media entity in the country. Media entities are controlled through ethics, right? If that is the level of control you're speaking of, I would agree. But we have to be very careful because control.
But if you say ethics,
yes.
who controls who manages that ethical standard?
Yes,
is the PUL, right?
The ethical standards are enforced
by
through
the
a multi-stakeholder approach that is within the PUL, right? You have a non-member National Media Council comprising 3 persons from the media community, 2 persons from the religious community. You have academia, 1 from the government, the Office of the Ombudsman, right? So the government is also helping to control the media, right? You have women's representation, and you have civil society. So it is a non-member council, a multi-stakeholder approach to ethical governance within the media. What I said initially was that we took over October 2024. We've had over 30 cases. So those cases are investigated. The Office of the Ombudsman has got a representation because it is an ethical arm of the government. The initial system we had was the Press Complaints Committee, Media Complaints Committee, and the Grievance and Ethics Committee. And they were all journalists. But to ensure that we have a wider, holistic societal approach, the membership, again, decided at Congress 2016 to change. So that system is currently there. And sometimes what happens in Liberia is that we are very quick to generalize, right? We've now received complaint, for instance, that Prime FM is ethically transgressing, or maybe the nighttime heat. We've now received complaint that OKFM, even ELBC, we've not. So when people are saying most journalists, perhaps our thinking is there are some problematic cases that they can use to generalize. Another point is that, which you were striking on the issue of Prophet Key, I think Justin Yazin, aka Prophet Key. When people are using these media entities, sometimes some people can mistake them to be journalists, right? But also, if they abuse, right, the president is under obligation to bring in some form of ethical governance, right? So that mechanism will have to be put in place. The issue of Prophet Key, the issue of contempt of court, in terms of the language that he has used, we took a position on it. That, I mean, we had a problem that you were charging with contempt of court, or you owe him for contempt of court. What did they do to impede the function of the court or to impede the administration of justice? If you were to use the 1978 stand to be corrected penal law of Liberia, where the issue of disorderly conduct, there's a provision, I think section 16.3 or 8. It says the issue of abusive language is considered disorderly conduct. They're playing loud music in the street or in the community, for instance, is considered as disorderly conduct. You can go to court, right? So we have a problem, fundamental problem, as to how the justices of the Supreme Court proceeded on that matter. But it does not mean that the union supports or supported what Prophet Key was saying. No.
Okay, so finally, Mr. President, we have to.
So in terms of the end game, the membership will decide that particular end game.
Okay, so the way I was coming now, we want to get this thing, want to get it in order. Now, have you completed the leadership of the president? Have you completed your consultation?
We've done extensive consultations.
Have you completed that?
Extensive consultations.
No, I'm not.
No, we've done.
No, the
I'm
question I'm
saying-
asking,
No, Saba.
have you completed or you are
Saba.
still continuing?
No, Saba, as we are speaking on this platform,
Mhm.
right?
Are you continuing or you completed?
No, listen now. I said we've done extensive
I agree.
consultations.
But have you completed the extensive consultation or are you continuing?
It is not. I can't answer. I mean, it's difficult for me to answer yes or no question, right?
You know, the president is just trying to hide something. Okay, granted you
Because
I come in,
listen,
comrade.
listen.
I come in.
So, but if I say we've closed the consultations, then I will be grossly inaccurate, because
So you are continuing, right?
before tomorrow morning, somebody could call and say we want to have meeting
Yes,
with you.
I mean, then be blunt. So we are continuing. We are
No,
not.
I
We are not
said
close.
we've done extensive.
Okay, now
I won't use your
how
language.
soon? How soon do we expect the membership to reconvene?
Yes, as soon as possible. you can be at the record.
You know, Mr. President, are you mindful that your colleagues
Mhm.
may likely accuse you of trying to betray the trust, the confidence, that apparently trying to handle this thing behind closed doors, maybe with the police IG?
So, you and I will
No,
work-
I'm asking, are you mindful of that?
So, yeah.
Because you are on this radio and you are not deaf in it here. I ask you whether you completed the consultations. According to you, we've done
extensive.
Have you
Yeah.
completed? You can say.
We've
Again, I
done-
ask you the question, Mr. President.
Listen,
How soon are you going to reconvene your members to tell them, look,
Say as soon
we've
as
met a
possible.
couple of lawyers, and this is what they've said. This is what we can do. You said
So,
as
but
soon as possible.
when you
You are
do-
not definite again with the time.
Yeah.
Are you mindful that your colleagues tomorrow may likely accuse you of trying to betray the confidence and the trust that they place in you?
So, but we took a decision on the 30th of July, 2026. We took another decision on the 2nd of August to convene a mass membership meeting. The meetings of the president cannot be placed behind secrecy, right? We say at the appropriate time, we reconvene the membership. So it's not something to fight about. Also, when you consult, I mean, congratulations.
Thank you, Chief.
When you consult lawyers, for instance, he's an attorney at law, right? If you consult him, he will give you certain perspectives and they tell you, okay, we have to consult further, right? Meaning he wants to look at certain precedents, certain cases in relation to your case. He may have some broader specific understandings, but he has to go back.
Okay, finally.
So
Finally, we have to let you go. We have to let you go.
When I said
Mhm.
that we've done extensive consultations, we know what we've done.
Okay, finally.
Right.
Finally,
At
from
an
my end.
appropriate time,
I agree with you. Finally,
and
from my
please come to
end.
that meeting.
I'm getting the feelings, Mr. President. You can agree with me or not. I'm getting the feelings that the president of the Press Union of Liberia, Mr. Julius Kanaba,
Uh-huh.
is holding some secret meeting with the police RG to handle this thing behind closed doors.
No, there's no secret meeting.
Okay.
In fact, one thing I did not say, I think Dave was in Kakata. You know, Dave is a living testament or living witness to what is happening at the PUL. We had the celebrations of World Press Freedom Day on the 3rd and 4th of May to the 5th of May in Kakata. The police work with the press union or work with the police
Yeah.
to ensure we had a media security
And I
dialogue.
saw you sitting close to the police RG.
The
A very good friend of yours.
So what does that
No, a
mean?
very good friend of yours.
So I'm close to
No,
you now.
I'm saying you. I saw you close.
I'm close to you
sitting
right now.
close to him. A very good friend of yours.
And guess what? Guess what, Sabo? We took our position, our initial position. Some people said they did not expect because we have a close partnership with the police. And the police has identified, we should say this, the police, through the RG, they've identified the media as a strategic partner. If they can recall, the RG said the police cannot achieve its desired results in terms of law and order, law enforcement, without the help of the media. That is on record. That's something that we've heard from anybody, right? So, but if there is anything that you should know me for, right? We don't compromise the interests of an organization, or we don't compromise the interests of journalism for anyone for that matter. So today,
So you're not holding any closure meeting
So
to seek some closure to this behind closed doors.
no, the membership. So I think there was one of our colleagues.
You're very influential to influence your colleagues. You know.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
say, look, gentlemen, let's allow Sleepy don't lie. Let's forget about everything.
no, we don't influence the thinking. That is why all of the questions that you're asking, perhaps if you have been in the meeting,
No, I'm not going to be in the meeting. We want to thank you for taking time of the business schedule, Mr. President. So, if you are writing a story out there, media colleagues maybe listening to the press union, or you can just put there, when the PUL go to court, you put question mark because it's not.
Yeah.
So that way you can read that story.
No. Actually, Julius is not clear on.
No, he's not clear
He's
on
not
a
clear
couple of things.
on a couple of things, particularly
I'm
about.
very
about-
clear. The
about-
only thing why you
about
want
what-
to hear is that why you are hearing.
Man, let's go break. Let's go break quickly.
Yeah.
We just-
Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. Let's Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. Let's start. Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. Let's start. Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. Let's start.
So welcome back to the program. We just conducted an interview with the Press Union of Liberia president, basically to hear from him as to where is the union on recent claims by the police IG, and he was here just a few minutes ago. Now, gentlemen, let's do a little bit of takeaway from this interview, and then we can go into something else quickly. Dave, let's hear from you.
Well, what I've noticed that is that the president, Liberia president, is being very careful as to what he says on the matter we're talking about. Yes, of course, they've consulted their lawyers. The president consulted his lawyer, his team of lawyers, on the matter as to which action can we take. What is a blackout or the legal action against the governor of Liberia through the Liberia National Police, because it was the police director that made that wild allegation against the media. And so they're talking behind the scenes. But the disappointment, and I guess would be the disappointment of many members of the president of Liberia, is that we expected that following that meeting, following the consultation of the legal team, the leadership would have come up with, a report about what is the legal team advising, what is it advising the leadership, what kind of action is the legal team suggesting that the president of Liberia leadership should take against, or the entire president should take against the governor or the Liberia National Police, that he wasn't clear on. And I think it's left us in suspense as members of the union, because of how that following that constitution, there would have been the legal team advising that take this action or don't take the action, abolish the legal action, let bygones be bygones, or let's slip into a lie, those kind of things. But there's nothing coming out of it, and it's not clear about that.
Okay. Let's hear you, Anthony Law.
Yes, from where I sit, I listened keenly to the PUR president. I strongly believe that this is going to end again the same way how we all know it ends in Liberia. Just let it go. There's nothing you can do. You can hold the government feet to the fire. He made an allegation. It's just a wild allegation, but that's not good for the leadership of the PL. And that's why I try to push him. When you are given a mandate to lead a group of people, they sometimes want a decision from you and then they follow. It was the president who came up with this idea that they were going to take on the IG to give evidence, and he was given 72 hours. He conveyed the meeting for all media petitioner to come together to get their backing so that he can go after this whole issue. And then, he's saying to us that he has to go back to them. I do not see, any positive outcome going back to them, because definitely they will be divided. They will be highly divided. So they posted, no, let it be, and this and that. Now, you, the leaders, sometimes you have to take some harsh decision. In as much as we've gone against the media for not being properly regulated, and he also underscored some of the challenges with the involvement of the government or so. But I think these are instances that are supposed to strengthen the media advocacy for independence, to have that level of independent control. Because if you don't do this, this could be a litmus test for the media, that, the IG came up and said, and threw out a wildcat allegations out there. The media came and said, we gave you 72 hours to give us, the evidence. The IG did not adhere to that. You call meetings, and then you say, oh, you going back to the people to inform them, this is what we want, blah, blah, blah.
And so the question, Attorney Law Family. The question is, Attorney Law Family and somebody is that. So what moral rectitude does the media have in threatening the police or even the government with a lawsuit when the media is seemingly making, wide allegations against.
I don't think they have reached that level of.
So that mean, so what more?
No,
That's what.
we have not reached that level.
yeah.
We have to transition quickly.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
come
they
in.
reached that level.
I think they have now reached a decision to go to court.
Okay.
And that's the reason why you see the PEL president is still tattling on that.
Yeah.
Because they have not reached a decision. Like you said, they've done extensive consultations, and they'll be again reconvening their members, the PEL members, to tell them as to the outcome of the consultations, and then they can reach a decision as to whether they go to court or not. But like Fambul has said, and I think I want to agree with Fambul, they may likely just allow Sleeping Dog to lie, as it is often done, in our country. I don't think the PEL want to go to court, especially when they had that sort of a good relationship with the police, working with the police, having a very good partnership with the police. I don't think they want to go that far, to go to court. But let's try to transition quickly, gentlemen. Last night we heard about the kindly share the show. We are streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. We are also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. That's Nighttime Heat, the Facebook and YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show online. Now, gentlemen, last night we heard about the names of some new members at the DEA, the Drugs Enforcement Agency. And this is the fifth changes so far. This is the fifth time this government, in less than 3 years, had done changes at the Drugs Enforcement Agency. But let's talk about the latest, names that we heard and have been nominated, by the president, Daniel Zianka, Prince Molba, and Precious Wood. All of those individuals who understand are, American trained, that we know. But let's hear from you, Mr. Edwin Fambul. When you heard about the new changes at the DA, what comes to your mind?
Well, basically, what comes to my mind is that I think the DEA over the past 3 years, 2.5 years, under the regime of President Boakai, had a very seesaw battle in terms of leadership. And if we can just name them, it started from A.B. Koma, and then
from Zago.
No, not Zago. It was A.B. A.B. was the
A.B.
first.
before Zago.
Yes, A.B. came first. Zago was Zago a DA? No.
Okay.
Zago was at
immigration.
Yes.
Immigration. Yeah.
So A.B. Koma, and then Swa, and then Christopher Peters, and then Biago, and then now we have Zianka. Yeah. It tells you that there are serious challenges in managing, quote unquote, the DEA in Liberia. So I do believe that the people who sit around the president now has to start thinking about what mechanisms can we put in place in order to be able to make sure that whoever we put the DEA now succeed. I listened to the Prime Money Drive this morning. Kevin and others was trying to analyze the same thing, about the whole leadership stuff. But you need to look at the lens beyond just an institution, DEA. LDEA is working within its own scope to be able to control the issue of illegal substance, drugs coming into the country and being used around the place. But there are other security institutions, there are other factors that work along with LDEA. So even if you fix the LDEA, if you don't fix the other security apparatus, you'll still have these leakages. Because at the border, you have custom, you have immigration, you have different players. So it is a holistic issue when it comes to the security chain of our country. That is why this whole investigation about the $317 million drugs is not only LDA. You see the chain with other institutions, even including the NSA itself. So it speaks a volume that the president needs to sit back, look at his security apparatus, and see exactly what reform need to be done. Take, for example, the guy at the correction center, the guy who was, allow his phone to be used or so. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the challenges go beyond the politics. Let's be realistic. If you have a security man standing at a checkpoint who makes $250 per month, Pretty tell me, is it difficult for that man to be compromised? No, it's not. Because this guy probably have never seen $5,000 US in his entire life. A man coming from across the bridge with maybe 50 kilo. You get a guy $5,000. Say, just pass that thing for me. You know, you can come for it, just hold it and pass. He's going to do it. So we need to sit back and ask ourselves, what reform can we make if we want to fight?
Now, let me go. So, in another word, you are taking us back to the reason why Christopher Peters resigned.
Resign, of course.
Now, Dave, so in another word, and before I go to Dave, you are saying that even we can bring someone from the great United
You
States.
can bring somebody from the
When
CIA.
the latest, when the requirement, the required,
Reforms are not made.
we're not going to fight.
You're not going to win the fight.
Dave, do you agree with that?
Look, yeah, to some extent, I agree with Edwin to some extent. But if you look at it from another point of view, no matter how much money you pay, people, if it is their nature, if it's a matter of indiscipline, they will still be compromised. They will still be compromised. So as far as I'm concerned, when people are trained, they train, the professional, no matter on what circumstances, they wouldn't allow themselves to be compromised, no matter what sort of money you bring to them. The fact that
So, in other words, are you confident that the new leadership at the DA will
well, I can
will do
say
the trick for them?
I can say that somewhat, and I've heard a lot of debate or arguments about whether Daniel Zienka and the new team at the LDA would change the trajectory. The fact of the matter is that, look, Daniel Zienka comes from the military. He served as chief of staff, minister of defense, and all that. But people who should be leading agencies like the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency should be people who have training in the area of anti-drug tactics. Let me put it that way. Maybe I don't know the terminology for that, but people who are experienced, who are trained in anti-drug, tactics of fight. They should be the ones. So almost like let me just make the analogy about somebody who was a civil society advocate becoming the minister of public works when he was not trained in that area.
But let me ask you. We had Anthony Swore. Anthony Swore all his days been in this fight against drugs.
He was in the security
and he was there.
Yeah.
But you heard the story from.
I talk about, I mentioned about the issue of discipline and training. Once people are committed, when people have agreed on their own to be nationalistic or patriotic, they'll always be honest. I know the issue of salary. It's tempting that someone who's being paid $200, $150 offer $1,000 for that person to say, no, I don't need it. I mean, it would be very rare for someone to just disagree not to take such an amount when he has not seen $1,000 in his hands in bulk to receive it. He hasn't. The first time in his life, since he's been working maybe for his entire life or half of his life, or still, he hasn't handled $1,000 in bulk in his hand, and someone offers it, he would take it. So. That is to say that there's a need that for the government to start revisiting the wages of security personnel, people in our security system. Consider their, yes, I know that no matter, once somebody is dishonest, they're dishonest, and then that's their nature, no matter how much you pay them. But the government, I think that will curb the situation if security personnel, security people that pay handsomely. If they're handsomely paid, it would alleviate.
Dave, do you hold, because if you listen to our colleague here, he's trying to paint a picture that the nomination of Daniel Ziankan, yes, he has a very good profile. He served as then a military man. He served as Minister of Defense, but not in the drug area. Now he's trying to paint a picture that it may be cosmetic again, especially when we can affect the necessary reforms. We can take the necessary reforms like improving salaries, providing logistics. You heard the reason why Peter resigned.
Yep.
Christopher Peter.
The point of the matter is that security-wise, Daniel Ziankan is trained, but he's not a suitable person to lead a DA. The fact of the matter is that, look, someone who has a LDA must be somebody who's specifically trained in that area of the fight against drugs or drug trafficking.
But it would have been better.
He doesn't have the specialties in
because even the Prince Mulba.
Yeah.
Prince Mulba has been in the police, right?
Yeah.
Fine. And the only person so far who was nominated on that list was the lady called Precious Rule. She's been in the DA for quite a long time.
She grew up in the system.
So I don't know why they couldn't make her the head of the DA. And maybe,
but in fact, the Daniel Ziankan's newest position, to me, is a demotion. After having served as Chief of Staff, the Armed Forces of Liberia, Minister of Defense, then you brought to the DA. I think there's a demotion for himself. Look at it from the other side.
Let's forget about demotion, but let's look at whether their presence there will change things around.
Well, like I said earlier, irrespective of retired General Ziankan, let me say this, and I will repeat this again. The people who head these institutions are not everywhere. It's not possible for them to be at all of the border crossing points. They depend on lieutenants and people who are stationed at those places. And if those people welfare are not taken care of, you will not solve the problem. There is no way in the world you can say that you root corruption out 100%, but there are ways that you can curtail that. Even in the great United States, cops are corrupt. But a cop knows that if he gets caught, the consequences that he's going to feel based on what he's getting in terms of salary, how the immunity that his family has, his children go to free medication, and do so. He calculated all of that and said, I have to do the right thing. So what we're saying here, look, I've been in the security sector before, irrespective of all of the people. It is, look, the job is not done by the person who's sitting at the top. It's the people who are down the line. Once they are satisfied, once they're taken care of, you take a guy from here and send him to Waterside. He has his family that live in Monrovia.
Monrovia, yeah.
And you pay him $300-400. How much money do you expect him to take care of himself and also send to his family? He has pressure on him. His kids are not going to school. There's hospital bill. There's the husband, due. And there's a guy coming from across the bridge with a consignment and say, I will give you $5,000. We're all human beings. Every human being can be bought. It just depends on the price that they're willing to pay at a certain point in time. Everybody has a price. So my thing is that you can put all of these things in place. You can bring the best from even the United States. If you don't solve these structural challenges within the security sector, you're going to keep having the occurrence of these things. Now, Ziankan, yes, he's a trained military man. He has, when he was running the army as chief of staff, he had command structure. Now you're bringing him to a security sector that deals with both intelligence, going out there to arrest. It is not like the military style. It is a different operation by itself.
Yes, of
you
course.
have to get intel. You need to have people out there that giving your people information as to where to go. So again, it's going to take a time for you to be able to get on the learning curve.
Now, but why take Daniel Ziankan from a national security, no, not national, but national defense advisor or something advisor? That's the position he was serving in at the mansion. Why take him from there and carry him to DA?
And
does he have any sort of training in the era of DA?
And the impression it creates that
if the president wants to solve this drug problem, the president has a trained professional who for more than 15, 20 years served as the head of USDA counterintelligence in Nigeria, who is the current head of the EPS. Put money into the DEA and send him there. Let him go and run it.
You make a reference to the
Sam Gay.
Sam Gay.
It's an open secret.
But why
Everyone
the
knows.
Sam Gay there?
So
Again,
Saying he has a training in there.
Again, of course. And for many years, he sat. In fact, he dismantled major trade routes in the West African sub-region. So look for somebody else to go and handle the president.
Because Daniel Zanga is a military man.
Look for somebody else to go and handle the president
One minute,
EPS. Let somebody go and handle the EPS, because the EPS is just basically presidential VIP security. So now you have a major crisis at hand. You need somebody the Sam Gay. You put him there, but again, you have to put the resources there. And Sam Gay is not going to go there when you giving LDA what $7 million. What can you do when you have over 200 plus crossing point in Liberia that is not manned? There's nobody there. You have a long stretch of coastline from here all the way from Cape Man all the way to Cape Palmas. There are vessels coming at sea.
So the question now is, what is the rationale leaving Sam Gay and going for Daniel Zanga? Is it because Daniel Zanga served as Minister of National Defense?
The first and Sabo, you know, that is the issue of recycling people. I mean, we'll continue to hear the same names in the security sector, most especially the DA, police, the immigration, the similar names, you always hear them. There's a particular group of guys that will continue to be positioning and repositioning all the time. Those names, you always hear them. You know,
but is it helping? Is it helping our society? Is it helping our nation grow?
What apparently because of the brain drain of professionals.
No.
I accept your right to disagree with me. Apparently, it's a brain drain of professionals. The fact that look, if there isn't a
but he just named the current EPS director. What is wrong taking it from the EPS and this a man who's trained in that area?
My point here is the recycling of the same people over and over, the same names over and over. I mean, the impression that creates is a brain with Liberia has a brain drain. So we use the same group of people all the time, the same formula yesterday, the same formula today. I mean, isn't that a brain drain that we don't have the professionals, that the same people over and over?
Now, gentlemen, let's try to get to somewhere. Let's get to somewhere. Now, the president has nominated Daniel Zanga, nominated Prince Mulba, who also was part of the police, right? Mm-hmm. Nominated Precious Rule. Precious grew up in the system. Mm-hmm. She knows much about the DA. You think it would have been appropriate if the president had just said, okay, let's find somebody from within to make the president head, and then maybe we can ask the Daniel Zanga to use his military might. We can ask the Prince Mulba to come in with his police skill to help Precious.
So the president is just one person, and he has a lot of people to run him. They should be guiding him some of the areas. The first thing the president is considering naming a person to head the LDA. There should be somebody who said, "Oh, President, Daniel Zanga isn't the appropriate person. This is the appropriate, and this is why." You know, if you have the kind of engagements with the president, you will make the right decisions. But if you have people that run the president who are saying yes to everything the president says or decides, I mean, this is where most of the mistakes come from. People should be there to be disagreeing with the president and respectfully disagreeing with him. And Mr. President, no, it doesn't work this way. Let's do it this way. But you have everybody saying yes, yes, and yes, and yes, and everything. You know, everything the president says yes, and no one disagrees. Everybody is protecting their job. No one wants to be courageous enough to disagree with the president, Mr. President. No.
Okay. Let me hold it. Yeah.
You actually normally don't see that in Africa. You in fact, I don't know which country will even tell you that people around the president would disagree with the president. The only time you hear them speak when the president is no longer in power, and then they come, oh, we used to advise him, but he did not listen. But the thing is that let nobody fool us that there's a brain drain. we're going out of the war almost 20 years now. You've trained young people like Precious Rule, right?
Yeah, Precious Rule. Yeah.
She grew up in the system.
So why can't you make her
know,
the head of the DA?
And aside from that, you have other people. You have other librarians who are expert, who are trained, who are working outside of the system. And that's why I say you need to put money into the sector, because if you're going for a professional, I just told you about Sam Gay. All right. You think that you think it is only Sam Gay who the only librarian who have worked in this whole DA system in the US? There are a couple of librarians out there. Some of them even retired. They know how the system works. Put the job out there and say, look, we want for qualified librarians who know about this whole DA drug stuff to apply. You see how many applications the president will have on his desk that he can vet it, go through them, and even ask foreign partners to assist him. But this whole thing about trying to satisfy people has not helped us. And every time we do this mistake, we have leakages in the system. I said the same thing when the president made the appointment of the current NSA director, irrespective of Prince C. Johnson professional career as an army man. The National Security Agency is an intelligent agency that people take years to be trained into. How will you take somebody that Henry Pearson from NSA and put an army man there? Do you know how long Henry Pearson stayed in that system? Do you know how he grew? There are people who are in that system who are just how you see Henry Pearson. They know every looks and corners of the agency. These are the people that you want to build up so that you don't have, when you talk about the brain dream. But we believe in this country that everybody can do anything, anybody. But there are institutions that you need to have people who understand it, because if you don't do that, it's almost like.
And I agree with you. I agree with you that, and that's what keeping us down as a country. That's one of the major factors keeping us down.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that anybody can do anything.
Yeah.
So you take David Tagba is not a journalist. He just you're taking the LBS.
LBS.
How does LBS improve?
Never.
The first thing, David Tagba does not even understand the language being spoken there. He doesn't know what they call cue. He doesn't know what they call script. He doesn't know what they call news flash. Yeah. He doesn't know what they call intro.
And the time you take to learn,
you're killing the system.
Of course, you're killing the system.
So you take Daniel Ziangang, man from the military, you take him to the DA. When like you made reference to Gay.
Of course, Gay.
What would have been wrong if the president, maybe all those who are handling the president, say, look, let's appoint, Mr. President, appoint Gay. Yeah. But again, those who are appointed, gentlemen, many of them from, they are treating from the USA.
The United States, yes.
Now, don't you think, and definitely begin with you, yes, it may be factual, it may not be, but don't you think the breaking in of those three individuals was as a result of a recommendation from the already have the U.S. DA agency in country helping with investigation? Don't you think they might have recommended that?
Well, it's difficult to say, and I dare you to also say definitively that it's the U.S. that is advising the
government. No, it's possible.
There's a possibility that I agree with you. The fact that all these guys are all products of U.S. training facilities.
But they were trained in different areas.
Yeah, they were trained they were trained in different areas. So then we all have agreed that he isn't the suitable person. He's a security person. He comes from the the military background. Mm-hmm. And drug, the fight against drug is a different area that one needs to have some level of training. But what I wanted to come up with before you ask me the question is that, but is it not also fair? Daniel Ziangang security is his area. The president has appointed you to the LDA. Don't you think it would be fair for Daniel Ziangang to say, Mr. President, I appreciate your recommendation, your nomination. I appreciate your nomination. I agree that you have a lot of confidence, but the area
it's not my area.
It's not my area. Don't you think Daniel Ziangang should have done that? I mean, any other person you don't know. Because if you call a David Tagba, say, David, David expertise in maybe broadcasting or journalism. And so David come and go and become
Go to Minister of Gender,
or go to the Minister of Public Works. Nothing wrong with it for David to tell the president, Mr. President, I appreciate that you know your confidence in me. But where you sending me, the Minister of Public, I have no idea at all. My expertise in journalism
So finally, gentlemen,
or broadcasting. So,
finally,
Mr. President, I want you to please reconsider that decision. Daniel Ziankan could have done that,
Yeah,
knowing
sure.
that
So-
he comes
so
from the background.
To your question about maybe the United States may have advised the government, I don't want to believe that, because if they were to advise the government, they would have asked the government to look for people who understand how the system works. Like we keep saying that, look, this is a different fee by itself. Irrespective of Mr. Ziankan training, he's one of the best. In fact, I was opportune to have met older guy that from the Ghanaian military that he trained with in the United States in Accra. It was almost about 6-7 years ago. And the very first person he asked me what I knew, it was
Daniel
Daniel Ziankan. Yeah. And he said to me, he said, no, they said that guy was top notch of our class. He's one of the best, So if you want to use somebody that Daniel Ziankan, who has his military expertise, the president can establish an ad hoc committee, quote unquote, with some military, officers, and make him the head to help support the DEA in the fight against the drugs, right? Because the president is the only person that has the authority to command the military. He's the commander in chief. He can give them order. He can say, look, Daniel Ziankan is going to be the one to coordinate. I want this military operations on this thing, maybe along the coastline, the borders. We want the military deployed there.
but you are serving as military advisor.
Yes,
To the president,
of
yeah.
course. So he can still do that. But again, it is within the president's wisdom. We don't know what he's thinking about or how he perceived it or what mandate he's going to give Daniel Ziankan, maybe to ask him to use the military to be able to actually curtail this whole drug issue. Let's wait and see. But I think professionally, he's not actually placed.
So
to where
another
he's-
point of it, gentlemen, is that Biago, I just step aside as a result of the allegations brought against him by Martin Colley, even saying that he has evidence, the issue of the gray car or the brown gray car vehicle, the issue of the gray vehicle. So Biago said, look, to preserve the integrity of the LDA, let me step aside. And then an investigation is conducted. And if it is determined that I'm wrong or right, if I'm right, let me return to my job. But that hasn't been done. We haven't reached that part of it. Temporarily stepping aside doesn't mean that you resign. Well, here we are hearing that the president has nominated Daniel Ziankan. Isn't that a matter of concern, gentlemen?
Well, I think besides his recusal, he has also been indefinitely suspended from the Liberia National Police. So, in another word, I think the president is
You're
getting
talking
rid of
about
him.
police, talking about the
No,
LDA.
yes, I'm coming. So it means that the president has already gotten rid of him. The fact that he can suspend you already from the Liberia National Police, and then his recusal, from the DA, it just shows that. But the question, no, for me, I want to look at is the issue of what the Ministry of Justice said, that he was not held responsible for any of what this guy posted, but rather he's being held for ethical breach. What is that ethical breach that the Ministry of Justice spoke about? I mean, it's something that it requires more question than answer. What is the ethical
Yeah, but
breach
then it
that
then
the Ministry of Justice?
so it's on the shoulders of the Minister of Justice to be
So clearly states the
to
ethical breach.
specifically
Yes, so-
say what
So Dave,
the ethical briefs are
So
breaches
Dave,
are. Yeah.
irrespective of even the Ministry of Justice coming out to
Mhm.
to actually indicate what the ethical breach is, those who are in the executive branch of government works at the pleasure of the president. So even if Biago did not commit any crime, he didn't do anything wrong, it is still within the purview of the president to say, I don't want you to be at DEA again. Just today, Madabio got rid of 15 of his senior cabinet ministers and appointed new ones.
15
finance, foreign affairs, 15
of a cabinet
of his
minister.
cabinet ministers, senior
That news
ministers.
passed by me.
Senior ministers, I saw it online. 15. He
Fire
brought in-
all of them.
he got rid of all of them and brought in new people. So the Constitution gave the president the authority. You work at his pleasure. So whether Ministry of Justice was investigating or did they investigate him or the report did not come, if the president don't want him there, the president can get rid of him. The president can wake up tomorrow and say, I'm dismissing all the cabinet officials in Liberia. Nobody will ask him.
But this is a different case.
No, he was asked to
no.
step
This
aside.
is a
In fact, he
different case.
himself said he was stepping
those
aside.
those who were those who were gotten rid of by the Carolina president.
Mhm.
I mean, they must have done something.
No, you don't have to do nothing.
And so, okay, yeah, I know that it's
You
a
have
good
to
and
do
pleasure. The
nothing.
president, can get a one in a similar.
You have to do
I don't want you to work with me.
Yeah.
But this is an issue. But the timing of it. So had Biago not been accused, wouldn't the president have replaced him?
So
Or
Biago's
but
issue is that
the president has taken the decision.
Biago
because
was the one that even
Biago
asked
has
to
been
be-
linked to the
to,
drug
to be
cartel.
recused
Uh-huh.
until you can go through the investigation. And then based on that, the president asked the Minister of Justice that he wanted a report.
But Biago
within
hasn't
72
been
hours.
given the due process. Biago hasn't been given due process.
Okay, so the
How
process
come
here is
you are
that in that-
replacing him
No,
when he
in
just
that-
recused himself?
In that, there's no due process to that because you work at the pleasure of the president. So
Okay.
that one, the due process does not cover you. So no, where
No, the due process I'm talking about.
I'm
This is a
coming
man
at
who is
you.
accused, who's
I'm coming
linked to
to you.
drug cartel, receiving a vehicle of drug cartel.
I'm coming at you.
He
So
hasn't received the
Biago
due,
has two
due
jobs,
process.
right?
He's replaced.
Biago has two jobs. Biago was OIC and at the same time deputy something in the police, right?
You see, I call the department
Okay.
human resource.
Of course. So because he was suspended from both of those jobs, now Biago is now being investigated based on his ethical transgression with serving as the OIC
At the DA.
at the DA. That could also affect his job from the LMP. But with the one with the OIC, basically that one he has nothing to do with due process because he worked at the pleasure
But then
of
the
the president.
ethical transgression that people haven't understood. What is it? What is the ethical transgression?
Well, until you
Oh,
can
you
read
know,
the report, then you know.
Now,
What-
gentlemen,
what is the ethical
we'll open the
transgression
lines
we're
very
talking about?
shortly. And I want for people to call this time around on this specific issue. And before we open the lines, let me try to hear all of us views on this. Will the new leadership at the DEA, because this is the fourth time or fifth times, in less than 3 years of the Boakas Kun administration, to have changes. This is the fourth time. Will the new leadership fight and defeat the drug cartels? Because it is established now that we have drug cartels in our country. People are being picked up. People are being dismissed. Some of them in the security sector, some from the NSA, some from the RIA, some from within the LMP, the police, top security personnel. So we have a cartel who are helping the cartel. The first quantity was about 19 million. While we're trying to investigate to determine where it came from, who brought it, over 370, right? 370 million. Again,
Worth of
worth of cocaine. surfaced. So we have a cartel. There are some who think that we are transforming gradually or speedily into a narcotic nation or narco state or whatever it is. So we have a cartel. Now, with the new leadership headed by Daniel Zianka, former Minister of Defense, former Chief of Staff, he served also, the last was advisor on national, national security. With the new leadership, fight and defeat the cartel, or will we see a replica of what we saw before?
It is not possible. It is not possible for Daniel Zianka and his new team to, to get rid of or to alleviate or get rid of the issue of drug trafficking. Even if it has, if it is given, if the team is given all the logistics of funds it needs to fight cartel, even the most sophisticated countries around the world have found it difficult to even defeat cartels. So Liberia is.
So then why do we place them there?
So what?
To go play there? Why do we nominate them there?
The fact that the DA is an agency of government that needs to be headed by someone or a group of professionals. I mean, for it to, do whatever responsibility it has in terms of quelling the influx or the inflow of drug traffickers or drugs into our country. So they've been given a responsibility. Let me ask you a question. What I don't know.
1 minute, Dave, before you answer the question I asked. During the administration of former President Sirleaf and the administration of former President Weah, yes, we agree drugs were discovered, right? But the alarming rate at which we are seeing it now, to the extent that some are saying that we've becoming a narco state. Did you see that? Well, so then why did we appoint Zianka and the rest of the other two? Isn't that to fight and defeat the cartels?
But Sabo, even the great United States hasn't defeated cartels, drug cartels. Even the great, countries around the world.
So why do we place them to minimize the cartels?
But it's a matter of.
Somebody,
I still trying to think about the way I should answer your question. The fact of the matter is that the president has named a team headed by Daniel Zianka to head the LDA, to regulate or to run the affairs of the LDA. And that team headed by Zianka needs all the best logistics and financial support to be effective or efficient in terms of tackling the issue of drugs. But saying that.
So in other words, you are saying that there's a doubt as to what are the real
I wouldn't use the word doubt.
But you said they need all of the sophistication. That the others didn't have.
I'm not going to. I have a lot of words to use than your word doubt.
All right, let me hold you.
I know. I'm not going to use the word doubt.
So now the question is, we have a new team at the DA. The fourth or fifth time that we have changed, the DA has changed hands. That's the fifth time. And the major reason for which we have them there is to fight the cartel. It's known that we have cartels because people have been picked up. Some in the police, some in the DA, some in the NSA. They've been picked up. So do you see this new leadership will do the tricks at the DA?
I'm a little bit skeptical.
Okay.
To say that they will actually pull the plug out.
Okay.
The reason for that, the guys will keep trying, the cartels will keep trying because they have the resources, they have the finances. They will definitely find a way to actually penetrate through the system. If this
even with Zianka around,
even if this time not going through that same apparatus, they will find other means again because. Like I said one time on this same platform, that the drug trade is a very lucrative trade, irrespective of whether we elected or not. It's very lucrative. The guy sits wherever they are, whether it's in Colombia, whether it's in Peru, whether it's in Bolivia. They have millions of dollars just stuck in cash, in homes, not in the banks. They don't have to go to fill in form to get that money out. They just need to find a way to just channel it through the various corridors. So they will keep trying. Now, we have not answered some of the challenges that we've realized. The very first thing the president team should have done is to identify how are these drugs coming into Liberia? How are they ending up on our shores? We all realize that the 370 million drugs did not come through the borders. They came through the corridor of the Atlantic Ocean. In fact, where they even identify where the boat used to go pick up. Is the Joint Security saying, Mr. President, we need a 24-hour patrol along our coastline at this point in time. We need to have 5 to maybe 10 Coast Guard boats that we have them just stationed along our coastline, that every 10, 15, or 20 minutes, they are patrolling the coastline from Cape Mount all the way to Cape Palmas. So we deter these guys to know that now you have people who are actively engaged in what's happening along the coastline. Has that apparatus come out to say we need to strengthen their maritime? So we have a navigation system that the guys who are at the Coast Guard base are watching all of the vessels that are coming out from, various areas, the transactions that are happening at sea. These are the things that you need to put in place. Then you now start to inform the cartel that we are ready, we are watching you. Take, for example, if the guys come on sea and drop maybe 500 gram, maybe along the Bassa end, you have no Coast Guard in that area. You have nothing there. The navigation system doesn't even go that far to know what's happening. They could put it in a fishing boat and come and drop it, and then you could have smaller boat going out there, breaking them on shore. You can learn to some places where nobody is there. It's just a serious boat.
Somebody before you open the line.
So these are interesting things that we need to sit around the table and answers. Then we say, well, we are now ready to get somewhere. Just imagine a vessel was in our waters for almost, they say, some people say almost 2-3 weeks. They reported of engine problem. When our Coast Guard when our Coast Guard went to approach them, they said the vessel drove into deep sea. Our Coast Guard boats cannot reach that level.
Can you imagine that?
Yes. So
what are we saying?
So Sabot, and I like to disagree.
So we are so far from being capacitated to fight the cartel.
No, but
we're still far from that. That's why Daniel Zianka being placed at the
you were making a comparison about the CDC government, the issue of drug cartels, and all that. Look, everything has time. Sabot. That doesn't mean that the government has a hand in funding or encouraging.
Nobody is insinuating that.
But the first thing that I disagree is Liberia has a cartel now. No, Liberia doesn't have cartels.
What do we have?
Liberia doesn't have cartels. Cartels are only using Liberia as a transit point. Liberia, because the first thing the cartels, the drug traffickers themselves know that Liberia doesn't have the market for cocaine. Cocaine, they are understanding it's an
so those who are linked to the transit those who they are using to get their products out of the country to pass through, are they not?
The one makes it a Liberia transit point. Liberia doesn't. Liberia being used. It doesn't have cartel.
We have limited.
We don't have the market.
086 05 05 07. Again, 086 05 05 07 or 0778 460 793. Let's take the first call now. Let's hear your name.
Summer, how you doing, my man? Enjoy your bar. This is National Finance from District 17.
Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, you add all the questions that we asked the Prime Union President. Summer, let me tell you something. The three of you in their social sensitivity, all the questions you asked the Prime Union President, they're telling on public radar. There is no good price anymore, because by right they should have monitor all the radio stations and monitor the behavior of the journalists. They have price freedom, and we also have our right. Also, it's a freedom of speech. the price, they say all kind of things, accusing people all around here, you know, saying different things. So, my brother, when you listen to some radio, almost like Radio Kigali, who got some radio here, like they on radio here. So, I'm the one who told you, say, look, you don't have to take Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We listen to you. Then you drop in some days. What kind of radio you expect us to listen to? So this is one of the best radio. Now, what I was telling you that time. So you ask the man all the questions. The only way Price Union will be together if you not do that. If you not do that, even we the citizen will go against you, because there are radio stations that talk loosely. They don't even think that yes, Price Union it is an organization that people pay attention to. You the people, the one that helping us in the country here. Any bad thing will know for you, any good thing will know through you, but they don't know that.
Okay.
So let me end this way. The police director have the right to accuse any of you to the same way you can accuse them. If you're not doing it, we also will start accusing you.
Thank you.
Get to the drugs. Now let's get to the drugs. The military man sending you to DA is also correct. You know, the DA boss is not the one going to sign, or he's not the one that going to middleman, he's not the one that going to vacante. But if you can put it in place, you're able to control it, thank you, man. Let's go.
Okay, many thanks. Let's see this color. Let's hear you.
So, good evening.
Yes, sir, Chief.
Good evening to the panelists. My name is Sekou and I'm proud member of United Party Intellectual Bureau. I'm calling from Pache tonight.
Okay.
Some are amazed of us, but however, the show was conducted well behind me. So I want to say this. So, right, you know, the president. Every day I will just say, and my vote is resonating. So, even if the president, if the right is not being done, the president can even change the TA bus 5 or 6, 10 times. We like it, because if someone do that, that means to say the person is really interest in the country, interest of the country. The other people here, the DA bus go 6 years. Can you imagine? 6 years, one DA bus. That place some of that money error. Money there that a girl with somebody will integrate them before you, because nobody know what happened over there. I think when you go there, that only God can control you. Because somebody, if you not see 10,000 or your house, someone go to $1 million and show it to you, your head will scatter. But I'm sure that with the appointment of Ziaga, things will be under control.
Okay, many thanks. I think another corner of the line quickly. Let's hear you.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Germany is Lassana Samuel, and I know you from Carway.
Let's hear you, Lasso.
Okay. Let me agree with Mr. Samuel in studio there by saying that we need a total reform in our system. And for me, I don't have problem with the hair. The hair, changing the hair every time, you will not solve any problem. The other guys are around, they can make way for even the hair to get into a problem. Even if President Bakar says step in that capacity, it's not easy. We need total reform in our system. So that's the only way we can minimize the particular situation. You know that evil is a test evil. If you have to take that old message will fail in that test, people stay around that particular system that we infiltrate that puppy so that we will fail the test. Thank you.
Many thanks. 0778 460 793 086 05 05 07. Again, 086 05 05 07. We'll take 3 more calls and we'll wrap it up quickly. 0778 460 793. Again, what do you think about Daniel Zianka serving as DEA boss? Here is Tim, his new team nominated. You think they can really fight the cartel? Or we see a replica of what we heard about before? Let's hear you.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Corey.
Okay.
I call from around the Jacobstown community.
Okay.
That means this abuse your man or your caution as the former defense minister. If you are doing military science to 300 level, you know that military institutions are the best than any institution that ever existed.
Okay.
If you see the current crack on the drugs cartel is based upon the NSA boss. That's some information I will not disclose it to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Military believe in structure, chain, and command. If you combatant, you have more than 2 different commands. But if you ask about PC Johnson as the NSA, the man is a bodacious and a straightforward man. This is why NSA thing are straight there.
What
And
bodacious?
the current defense minister is placed in administrative position. This is why the president was very sagacious in selecting the limit of operation. The operation leader is someone with character. If you do a background investigation, ask people that work in the DEA. She's a straightforward person.
Okay.
And she being consistent, this is why she used control the operational arm. And that's the most effective cell there, the operational person. And then the defense minister will only there to make sure that the structure are put in place that everybody work effectively. If you watch Colombian show or Mexican show, you know that drugs is now easy crime to fight.
Yeah.
The great America have Mexico with all the sophistication. There are millions of drugs that enter America on a daily basis.
Okay.
So what we do is for the DEA to be empowered.
Okay, all right. Let's take this call quickly. You made all of the points. Let's hear your name.
Yes, my name is Jonathan Wu. I'm calling from Fargo, North Dakota, USA.
Okay.
I'm following you guys every day. Thanks for the hard work you're doing for the country. But you brought a press union president and you did not allow us to pose any question to him. I don't know why, or make any inquiry, say any statement to him.
Just go ahead. You still you hear what you have to say. You hear it. He's still monitoring.
Yeah, my problem with the PUL is like getting there in Liberia because for one fact, the president of Liberia, when a talk show host sit on the radio and insult women, insult leaders, whoever leader is, the president will say that man is a talk show host. He's not a journalist. When that same person is being handled by security or by any other Liberian, the president said they are going after media institutions. So I don't know how best are we distinguishing between journalists or among journalists now in Liberia. Because the president is not telling us who is a journalist now and who is a talk show host and how are the talk show hosts being covered by the PUL. Because journalists now will go say on a press conference, what somebody will insult and that radio station will keep carrying that program live. They will not get any regard for the warnings and they will allow that recording to go viral. I don't know. So please, next time you talk to the president asking, let me also know who is a journalist in Liberia now and who is a talk show host.
Okay, many thanks. Let's take another caller quickly. I'm sure from overseas. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much. Because our days now over.
He didn't call direct. Okay. Okay. Yes, go ahead quickly. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity given me. And let me say thanks also to all of the family for creating what you are going to continue. For the for the American nations, for the public and pocket Robert. And I don't want you this even for unknown destinations. Because someone will continue to say categorically, emphatically clear that Mr. Parker is not serious about fighting the jobs. But even eradicating it, he is not serious at all. Because someone, can you imagine? Trust is non-bearable. And somebody has confessed to a crime. And you got a person masquerading 3 years and have not even go to investigation or even punishment for a crime that you committed or even a crime that you confessed to. You got Johnny Bolake. Because it was disheartening to see that man that confessed about receiving 10,000 for the cartel. That man was walking free yesterday to the police station. If I'm lying, follow your
Okay.
Get what I'm saying to you.
Okay. Many thanks.
Bolake is not in jail.
Boladin.
All right, many thanks. You made your point. Let's take another caller now quickly. We'll take the calls are still coming, but we'll have to take 3. Time has come first. Let's hear you.
Thank you. The name remains Thomas F. Jota calling for Johnson Vapor Plantation number 2, Masaryk County.
Okay.
Yeah, let me appreciate you for your program, especially more often every night and listen to you sometime. So let me appreciate you for, these are the things we want to see in the country. To be able to, when government doing something, I need to be able to flex it. Sometimes so we elaborate at taking our various corners so we can be able to know what the government doing.
Okay.
And let me appreciate His Excellency President Joseph Jimapuaga for the great job he is doing for the country, especially about the jobs in the country. We are seeing the progress the government making. If today we can see, can imagine, this is a far person. It's someone that he is not serious to be able to fuel the cattle. I think he couldn't be able to do what he is doing today. To be able today this is a far person. Keep that Daniel Sanga to be able to hear the far person. I think for someone to say that President Baba he is not serious to fuel the trust. I think sometimes you got to be able to ask yourself question. What are the politics telling you, or maybe if they come having to win the world trust, at the end of the day, it will make other people will not be able to come in power. I think you should be thinking this is now, it shouldn't be politics. Let all put hands together. Everyone ought to be able to fight it because this thing, it will not choose civilians, it will not choose special people to be able to do something to them. This is collective fight.
Okay.
When we look now in the street, we see most of our brothers and sisters, they are very, very in a bad era. I think sometimes to be able to get politics and they will be able to put it aside.
Okay.
They are serious.
Okay, government serious. Let's take the last caller quickly. Let's hear you. You are the last.
Sabo,
Yes, sir.
thank you. Let me say good evening to you and good evening to all of the panelists on the panel tonight. So, this is Kuyu William Covey, and I'm having this conversation from HK City as a member of the United Party Intellectual Bureau. So, let me appreciate all of this. Sabo, it baffles me when I listen to the analysis on the show, and I hear people wanting to condemn the president for the appointed Daniel Sanga because he does not have any expertise in judge training. So it's not laughable to me that, look, the judge enforcement is a position, right? And this is what the president strategically appointed the three persons at that particular place took them from civil defense security agency. The head came from the army, the deputy for administration came from the police, which is Prince Monobar, and the deputy for operation, that war operation that they were going to do, all of the dirty work, they're going to get intelligence, do everything. That lady coming from the DEA, she going to do most of the work. Daniel Sanga will going to do administrative work down there. So that thing, I don't know how people understand governance to be. I don't think that as anything. Look at the current public stuff, right? He doesn't have any degree in engineering. He's a public administrator student. But see, before me when it comes to road work in this country, look, there are many of examples that I can say when it comes to governance or public administrator of area, right? To the LBI, what are the factors and states that there? There's one for technical services, deputy for so and so, and these are people who come with media background or media team. They will be there now to guide the boss who is administrative here to do all of the technical work and do all of the work to that particular place. And this is why the president appointed that particular team at the DEE. It was strategically appointed, right? The president knows what he's doing. I trust the ability of Joe Baka. This man has stayed in government. He understands governance a lot. He will not misplace anybody to a place that you know you will have something. Dana is a form of security. Let me tell you, he's a veteran in the security sector. He has intelligence.
Okay.
So he sent it to that place. He come with a lot to offer on the table. Thank you.
Many thanks, gentlemen. I think we can take additional calls. Let's try to get our parting comments. Dave?
Yeah, look, I'd like to say, look, Poker Roberts, I'd like to close on him. For him to have said that President Bouakai isn't serious in the fight against drugs, nothing he's been hypocritical and dishonest. For one to say with the rigidity with which the government is handling the drug issue, arresting people no matter who you are, and for Poker Bravo to call and say, I mean, the president isn't serious. I don't know what sort of seriousness he wants. Here's a president who is dismissing people all the time, even instructing the Ministry of Justice giving an ultimatum to come with results as far as and then the person calls on the radio and say the president is serious. What sort of actions you want to take? You've seen a lot of action. A lot of people have been dismissed. They pending for they standing by to go to court if necessary. And you sit and say the president is not how serious do you want the president to become now?
Okay.
And I'd like to close.
Let me hold you there.
So,
Yes.
as always, it was a good show. And just to my brother Kwewu, we are not questioning the president's appointment. What we are saying for expediency, there are certain institutions, if you have such a crisis as we have on our hand, you need people of expertise who understand that particular area to go in there and see how best they can help you handle it. Yes, we know the Minister of Public Works is not an engineer, but like you rightly said, is there any crisis that public work is now faced within the country apart from facing roads? And in most instances, public work is not even the one that are doing the work. You have contractors that are doing the work. This one, you're talking about a group of people that have the resources, physical cash,
That should have hands on.
that want to infiltrate your country, to turn your country into a major transit route. So you need people who have had the expertise, who understand as to how to engage these people, to make sure that they get to know that the people who are managing this sector now are people who understand it from the get-go.
Sure.
That's what we're saying. Thank you.
All right, so Melvin Nathaniel Roosevelt has been following. Vinicius Gino Bad been following. Bessel Richards from the US have been following. Euphilius George been following. Imaya Bro been following. Osinian Yiman been following. Honorable Papi Success Kadia been following. Martunia Son been following. Sekou Fofana been following. Political commentator Clon Seaton been following. Abi Dego Bala Newton been following. And the rest of you. Until then, join us tomorrow for another edition of the program. Sabo George is my name. Have a pleasant time.